Huge weekend of Group 1 racing here in Singapore, and it's shaping up to be a pretty big one for the Freedman stable.
Well, I guess numbers-wise, we've got some nice chances on paper, but obviously need to get the right draws and plenty of luck. So hopefully it goes our way.
Let's start off with Mwingo in the Singapore Cup. You've just acquired the horse. He's come over from Australia. He's right up there. He's form back in Australia. He's running against the best.
Yeah, he's on his best form for sure. I mean, he was probably a bit unlucky not to beat All Too Hard first up in the Orr Stakes over 1400, and then he, of course, won the Doomben Cup over 2,000 metres at weight for age this time last year. So his best form certainly puts him up there. He can mix his form a little bit, which I guess is a bit of a concern, but he's settled in quite well. He's been a little bit picky on his feed, but hopefully that'll improve over the next 3 or 4 days.
We saw him out there this morning getting his gate ticket.
Yeah, well, it's comforting to know that he knows how to jump out of the barriers going into a 2,000 metre Group 1 anyway.
It's probably one of the strongest renewals of this race we've seen for a number of years. It's a pretty crack field.
Oh, definitely. I mean, with the exclusion of maybe 2 or 3 others, it's as good a 2,000 metre race as you'd see. Obviously, the horse that won the Group 1 in France a couple of weeks ago, he's obviously a pretty high-class animal, and Red Cadeau can never be counted out of anything. I mean, he just seems to step up every time he goes into one of those big races. So, yeah, I think the Turf Club would have to be wrapped with the standard of the race, and in the 5.5 years I've been here, it's certainly the strongest I've seen.
From your point of view, how would you like to see that race unfold? It looks like there might be a bit of natural speed there with Flax potentially, but a lot of these horses look to be wanting to see some speed on.
Yeah, look, I think going through Mwingo's form at home, he's a horse that likes to sort of put himself up there somewhere. So I don't think from his perspective it would matter too much whether it was run along or whether they sort of made it a bit of a steadier pace. I think he'll be obviously subject to his barrier draw. He'll be somewhere in the first 4 or 5, I would have thought, and give him his best chance from there.
Okay, the other feature race on Sunday is the Chris Flyer, and you've got a very strong hand here. You've got the 2 probably best sprinters in Singapore, Super Easy, who we all know, and Mr Big, who was runner-up in this race last year.
Yeah, I'm wrapped with both horses. I mean, it was great to see Super Easy return to probably his best form in the Lion City Cup a few weeks back. He sort of seems to have his mojo back a little bit, which is good, and I thought Mr Big's run behind him in the Lion City Cup was full of merit, as was his run in Dubai. He seems to have trained on well from it. I was really happy with both horses' gallops this morning, and looking forward to Sunday.
Those 2 had a good hit out here recently, or I think it was in a race, and they ran some very slick time, I believe, too.
In the Lion City Cup, yeah, they ran I think 1:08 3/4 or something, which is pretty good time on I think it was a yielding surface that day. But look, I think obviously there's some high-class sprinters lining up on Sunday. They're not going to hang around, and I expect they'll probably run pretty good time again.
Is luck going to play a big part, do you think, in that race?
I think in these big weight for age races, whether they're sprints or staying races, you always need some luck. Barriers can play a pretty important part for sure. I think I'm pretty sure it'll be run at a pretty genuine clip, which I think probably augurs well for everyone. Will give everyone a chance, and the best horse will win.
On paper, Super Easy probably looks to be the better of your 2 runners. Would that be a fair observation?
Yeah, yes, on exposed form. I mean, the Lion City Cup was the first time the 2 of them had actually met in their entire careers. So Mr Big went down by about a length, I think, from memory. I've taken the blinkers off him for Sunday's race. He wore them in Dubai and again in the Lion City Cup, but I just feel he might just go a shade too keen in them. So he's had them removed for Sunday. Whether that can make a difference or not, time will tell. But there's not much between the 2 of them, and I'm happy with both their conditions.
You touched on it before, but his run in Dubai was absolutely outstanding against a pretty good field.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't pan out the way we sort of anticipated. We sort of drew the outside gate and thought that we'd have a bit of company come out where we were, and as it turned out, sort of Zach got a third of the way into the race and found himself pretty much out there on his own with one just sort of stalking him. So I think to pretty much run his own race out there and run the time he did and more or less sort of be a bit of a sitting duck, you know, it was a very good effort at his first try at that level. So I'm full of admiration for him. He's been such a competitive horse right from day dot, and he's a real competitor. And I think with a bit of luck on his side, they'll know he's there on Sunday.
Friday night, of course, it's the Guineas and the Horseshoe, and you're well represented again here too.
Yeah, I've got two nice horses running in the Guineas. Super 97, who was runner-up last start in the 1400. He was a bit unlucky, but you know, hopefully stepping up to the mile on Friday night will suit him. And a really nice young horse called Peace No War running in the Golden Horseshoe. He won his only start here about a month ago and seems to have trained on well.
Is there another one outside of the feature races we can keep an eye for over the weekend from your yard?
Yeah, I like. I've got a nice staying mare running in an 1800 metre race called Rosaya of Sydney. She won a last start over a mile. I think the step up to the 1800 will suit, and she's got Zach Burton riding, so I'm looking forward to seeing her race.